Good evening, gladiators. We who are about to play salute you. Well, it's been a while since our last video. Maybe a week and a half. My apologies. Life gets in the way. I've been busy, of course, with my little baby boy and trying to build Swords and Sandals Pirates and, of course, maintaining a day job and all the other Whiskey Barrel Studios projects I've been working on. Unfortunately, I haven't had that much time to do any of these gameplay videos, and that may be a reality going forward. I'm going to try and keep doing them 2 a week, but it might be down to 1 a week. However, I have found some time this week to play a game which is, again, one of my favorites, as I like to say, a true bastard of a game in the best possible way. This is a very, very tough game, and it's called Darkest Dungeon by Red Hook Studios. Without further ado, let's get into the game, and then I'll tell you a bit more about it as we play. So let's fire it up. Oh, suitable dark red background there. Set the mood for the game. It's a tough one. I'm going to skip the introduction, and I'll talk my way through it. Here we are, Darkest Dungeon. So this game was released in 2016 by Red Hook Studios. Now, Red Hook Studios were a two-man band originally, two guys who met when they were working for other studios and decided they'd love to put a project together and build a game, and they decided that they would love to make a dungeon crawling game, and so they did a lot of brainstorming and worked their way through a number of different ideas before coming up with kind of a roguelike sort of game with permadeath and everything. But the main difference with this game is they wanted to toy with the idea of psychological trauma in games, and they were inspired by shows like Band of Brothers and the scene from Aliens where Hudson breaks and he goes, "We're all gonna die, man, game over, we're gonna die," and other war movies where the heroes basically break down. And they wanted to put that in the game because they've been playing games like Eye of the Beholder and other old role-playing games, and in those games the heroes are generally just as good when they have full hit points or 1 hit point. There's no sort of, psychological effect on them. They don't break and they don't have the afflictions and that kind of thing. So they wanted to really toy with that. Campaign. We're going to make a new campaign here. Delete that one. I actually backed this game when it was on Kickstarter the first time, and it that asked for $75,000 or so, and they ended up making something like $300,000 to release the game. And so, wildly successful in the Kickstarter. And then it came out in 2015 in Steam Early Access. And I played it back then, and my God, it was brutally hard. And they've done a few balancing issues, thankfully. But it's still a tough game. All right, we're going to call this... we're going to go Radiant difficulty just for the game. Actually, screw it. We might as well play it in its traditional form. We're going to go Darkest. We're going to call this the Balboa Estate. And I'll tell you why soon. Let us begin. We're going to watch a bit of the game intro just to set the scene. Narrated by Wayne June. So cool. Wow, that's so cool. That is really, really cool. Wayne June was the narrator they used for this game, and he was discovered when he was narrating H.P. Lovecraft, the noted horror author, Call of Cthulhu and all that kind of thing. And, all the madness, horror, and insanity stuff. And they heard about him reading the audiobooks and thought it would be perfect for the game. And he was just so spot on. The narration in this game, I think, makes it. It's a brutal, grim game with, muted colors and, just an air of sorrow about it. And he just nails it in his very memorable narration, and we're going to hear some of it soon. So the idea is you, of course, are returning to the estate that your father has bequeathed to you, and the reason he's bequeathed it to you is because he dug up some abyssal horrors back in the day, and he wants you to come and basically discover what is beneath the mansion and cleanse it. So we've been waylaid on the road. Now, Darkest Dungeon, it's a turn-based game, of course, and so much, not too dissimilar to Swords and Sandals for those who've played it. There are skills and your movement and so on, but you can choose a couple of characters. It's a team-based game, so we can move with the arrow keys backwards and forwards. It's all on a 2D plane with this lovely art by a guy called Mark Barassa, who's a highly talented guy. So here's our little dungeon map, as you can see. We're going to go there. I'm going to just turn off the tutorial stuff because we don't need it. Control options. Other. Maybe I can't. Gameplay? Did I click on that? Fascinating stuff. Now, I actually did record a video for this about a week ago in the daytime, but I had so many interruptions with a baby crying, and the biggest interruption was I was drinking some coffee, and I had put it down beside me, and I turned for some reason and spilt it all over my desk, and it was just such a delay that just completely took me out of the vibe. And so I just said scrap it, do it again later, and it's later today with tonight, and it's a much better eerie ambience for it late at night here in Australia. So you can move left or right. Up here, your torch determines very many things in the game. The lighter the torch, the more you can surprise monsters and the less stress the heroes get, but the less chance of finding great treasures and the less chance of critical hits too. So here's our first monster, a brigand. Okay, so we're gonna we've got some skills. Each one, one of the interesting things about this game is it's a tactical game, and you have certain skills that can only be used in certain ranks, and so this one can only be used in rank 2 or rank 3. This one can be used in the first 3 ranks. There's only 2 of us, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to slice him up good. Now he's bleeding, so he's got one more turn and he'll probably die. He's shanked us for 4 damage. Miserable. This little bar below here is a stress bar, and that's one of the key mechanics of the game, because the more your attacks fail, or the more you get hurt, or the more things go wrong on your adventure, the more stressed you get, as we're going to find later. And when you get really stressed, bad things happen. So we really took him out. It was an easy victory, but the game is by no means easy, and it gets very challenging. We've got some treasure there. We can interact with objects in the game, of course, and we're going to check what's inside the tent. Some valuables. Visually, you can sort of tell what the good things are by it glows bright white, and the bad things glow in an eerie red, which is not so good. Yes, we will. The rightful owner has returned. So we're going to put a tracking shot on this guy. So the next shot we do will do extra damage. And with our Crusader, we're going to stun the big guy. Oh, it didn't work. There are a lot of tactics in this game. It's all about finding the right combination of party members. So that black half circle there was a stress meter. So they're a little bit stressed now because things haven't gone quite as well as they'd hoped. But we now can do a pistol shot on this guy because he's been marked for death, and this should kill him. Ah, not quite. There's our mansion over there in the corner. We're on our way there. And this is, of course, a tutorial battle where you get, you're going to win. Most likely. I don't think anyone's ever really lost this battle, but it shows you just how to, this game is no joke. He's stunned, so he won't be moving next turn, which is what we want. And we're going to basically dispatch with this guy. I'll use this attack. Ooh, I could have used that before. Because they had a critical hit, a nice white glow appeared there, and they got a little less stressed. Now, Crusader is going to stun him again, so he can't attack us. A stunned enemy is as good as a dead enemy because they can't hurt you, and that's what you want to do. You want to attack the enemies in the back and stun the ones in the front until there's no other enemies left. It's a very tactical game. It's really cool. Excellent combination of really memorable artwork. So we've got a torch, some holy water, some gold. We'll take it all. All right. So now the game begins. Quest complete. To the hamlet. So we collected some treasure and some heirlooms. Heirlooms are used to upgrade the hamlet, which is your town, basically. And you level up, of course. But the interesting thing with this game is what you see here is what effect did that adventure have on our player? So, Dismas, well, he's got a better chance of scouting in the cove, which is interesting because we didn't even go to the cove, but whatever. So now we're off to the hamlet. And this is where we'll spend the majority of the game when we're not in the dungeons. These are the goals of basically tell us what we need to do next. They're our lands now. All right. So we have a stagecoach where we can recruit new heroes. A graveyard where we can see the dead. Basically replays the introduction, that kind of thing. And here is trinkets. And these other buildings will be made available to us later in the game. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to personalize the game a bit because everybody plays with Reynald and Dismas, the first heroes, but I'm going to rename them. I feel like I saw the trailer for the new Creed movie the other day, and I'm a big fan of the Rocky series, so we're going to call our hero Rocky. And the second one we will call, hang on, will be known as Apollo. Do we get a darker skin for him? Yeah, it's about dark enough. It's good. So it's Apollo and Rocky. Former enemies, then friends, then of course Apollo dies, which is quite appropriate for this game, really, isn't it? Alright, so, actually hang on, what we need to do, we don't want to go in there just yet. We want to go back to the estate. Oh, there we go. Each week, I love that narration. Each week, heroes will turn up at the hamlet, pledging their service to you, and you're gonna go through them. Don't get too attached to them because they will die often. So we got a Vestal Virgin who's basically a cleric, like a healer. We're going to rename her Adrienne. Is Adrienne? I think it's Adrienne. I can't remember how they spell it. I think that's the female version of the name anyway. But maybe not in Rocky. And a plague doctor. Plague doctors were weird. These were real things back in the days of, you know, the bubonic plague and so on. They would wear this strange bird-like mask as a breathing apparatus, so they wouldn't inhale the noxious fumes of the plague. And you know, one of the funny things about the Black Plague is that they made it worse by killing many of the black cats around Europe because they were very suspicious. And by killing all the black cats, the rats multiplied and exploded, and of course carried the bubonic plague, which killed many millions, more millions than countless millions. I can't remember how many, but you know, it wiped out something like 3/4 of Europe at the time. So there's a fun little aside to get you in the mood for some Darkest Dungeons. Here are our skills, and each hero prefers to be in a certain rank. So if we look at Adrienne, she prefers to be in the back. Apollo is in the middle. Rocky's in the front line. And Grandcourt, who is going to be renamed as, of course, Ivan Drago, I must break you. So Drago is chosen to adventure with them for his own nefarious purposes, and he will, of course, be in the back. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so stage is empty. There's not that much. So bleak. Yeah, so, you know, that's just basically where you can go and visit the dead. There's no actual point to us to be there now. We can't afford any trinkets yet, so we will embark. Now, these are the various places you can adventure. I don't have the DLC and the PC version of it, but there is like a courtyard and some other area there. I can't remember where it is, but I've been playing this on the Nintendo Switch actually the last week, late at night when everyone's gone to bed. It's quite, I wouldn't say relaxing because you couldn't call this game relaxing at all, but it's been entertaining. My buddy Tom Gattenhoff and I have been getting back into this game and sort of, you know, exchanging hints every morning when we go to work, and you know, sharing horror stories basically, because we both played this game when it first came out, and I played it for maybe 15 or 20 hours and got quite disenchanted when my party adventurers died. Never played it again until recently, but I'm enjoying it again for now. So we're going to go into the ruins as our first port of call. We're going to drop our heroes down there and head on our way. We did some provisions first. So we're going to grab ourselves some food, a couple of shovels, a couple of keys, some holy water, and a couple of bandages maybe. And of course torches. So it's a fine balance between taking enough provisions on the road and leaving enough room for treasure. Because you find these items are very useful, as you'll see when we actually get on the way, because you encounter a lot of things in the dungeons that can be interacted with, but it might be an unholy fountain that can be poured holy water over and to cleanse it, or you might find a big blockade that you need a shovel to get through, and without those things it can make the adventure quite miserable. Here we are in the ruins on our first adventure with the Balboa estate. So this particular adventurer, there we go, has, you know, 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 rooms. It's a short dungeon. The dungeons can get quite long, and you actually have to spend several nights camping in these foul, infernal places. And of course, this game is permadeath. So once these guys get killed, it's all over. There's no reloading a save game or anything. The game auto saves, but if Rocky's killed, Rocky's dead. So we can interact with this. We found ourselves a torch, which we'll take. you move left and right. It's a lovely kind of nice. It's 2D, but has a nice sort of really interesting tween in and out effects. Our first battle in the ruins. The ruins have a lot of undead creatures in them, in fact. So it's not random, but it's complicated to determine what order your party will go in. Sometimes you find that the light is dimmer and you're surprised and the enemies will go first. Sometimes your party will have the initiative. What we're going to try and do is we're going to stun one of these guys, because it's good to stun them. It takes them out of the battle. Plague Doctor's great at that. And we will just pepper these guys with our damage dealers. So Apollo just hit the Bone Rabble. Now Adrienne is a excellent against... No, she's not that good against the undead, but it'll be enough. Now it's annoying, these things leave corpses, and you can turn this option off if you want. When I'm playing on the Switch, I turn that off because I find it really annoying, but for the purposes of this game, we're playing in its true form. So we will smite him, because it should take him out. So we've got some treasure out of that. And there's a chest. So we could try and open this, but it's probably going to be trapped. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a key, drop it in there. No effect. Maybe it wasn't locked. All right, we'll open it. Great, so we found a shovel. He's always so bleak and negative when he talks. Now, I've been playing this on the Switch, so I can't actually remember how to get out of the room. That's embarrassing. There you go. It's quite difficult. On the Switch, it's got all these different buttons you use, and then mouse and keyboard is actually way easier, but I've forgotten how to use it a little bit because I haven't played it on the PC in quite some time. Dim light. So what we're going to do is we're going to boost the light a bit. This is rubble. This is one of the things I was talking about. This is where you want the shovel, because if you try to dig this out with your hands, everyone gets very stressed. And one of my, small quibbles with this game is the constant random encounters, and I find that it's a bit too grindy, if you know what I mean. Battles do go for a long time, and there are a lot of them, and I know that's basically the focus of the game, but I feel like the short dungeon could be the medium dungeon, and there could be a dungeon that's even shorter than this, because I wouldn't mind playing a dungeon that only goes for 5 minutes. Even the short dungeons can, take up to 20 minutes, really. They're dodging our hits, which is unfortunate. I'm going to try and take them both out. It's a good hit. Well done, Rocky. So Ivan Drago is a bit stressed out there by these guys, the cultist acolytes, have a stressful incantation which basically will make you miserable. 2 corpses, which is unfortunate for us. For these guys who can only attack in the front, we're going to do the judgment on her. Big hit. And that made Drago feel a bit better, because he's like, hey, we can win this. It took me a while to just accept what this game was all about. And essentially, it's about letting go of the heroes and not worrying if they die too much, because the hamlet is the hero. The town is really the hero. You go in there, you battle enemies, you kill them, you're successful or not. You take stuff back and you upgrade the town, and that's the cycle. As the town gets more powerful heroes arrive, and you got to learn to let go of these ones, because in most role-playing games, the guys you create in the beginning are the same ones that you'll have at the end of the game, and you grow with them, and you don't really lose them. Permadeath is not really a thing in most role-playing games. Having said that, I'm going to mention my buddy Tom again, because he has played XCOM, that excellent tactical game, the space tactical game. He's played that on Iron Man mode and finished it without losing characters. And I find that, I think he didn't lose any characters. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's remarkable. It's an awesome skill because I died in that game all the time, and I'd basically reset the fights if I lost characters. I get too accustomed to them. But you know, I always think games are too difficult. That's probably just me being a bit rubbish at them. But then there are people that have finished games like someone's finished Dark Souls without getting hit once, or using a bloody steering wheel to finish the game. I've heard stories of someone finishing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time blind and just playing on sound, and that is just incredible. The human spirit, huh? So, another battle. There are a lot of battles in this game. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pepper them with some grape shot blasts. And we're going to stun the acolyte so she doesn't keep using her miserable stress incantation against us. Because we may see it, we may not in this video, but if your characters get too stressed out, they get afflicted by things and they can become paranoid or fearful or, you know, selfish, and they will act on their own, and they will, you know, refuse healing or attack their own team or miss a turn completely. It's remarkable, but these things can really screw you over. Big hit. So you want to get those out of the way. Well done, Apollo. So Adrian, yo Adrian! Needs a dazzling light on the Bone Soldier, which should stun him. Didn't do any damage, but that's okay. A stunned enemy is a useless enemy. Open veins on the human. Big hit. Apollo, man, he hits hard. Noxious Blast. Or another stun, perhaps. So he's bleeding. We could heal him. We'll do a Plague Grenade. Blight works really well against the undead. And we'll stun him. Yeah, once they're stunned, they can't do anything. And you really need that later on when the battles get a lot tougher than this. This, of course, is just our first adventure. On my Nintendo Switch version, my characters are, you know, level 3, level 4. They've killed a couple of the bosses, and I've probably lost about 15 or 20 heroes in the process. You go through them quickly. It's quite brutal. So, yeah. Ah, he resisted. But he should probably die real soon because he's blighted. And there you go. That wasn't the most tactically brilliant battle I've ever fought. You know, you get an idea of some of the tactics, and it's all about finding the right combination of players and of characters. And there is this, maybe, I can't remember, the 12, 15 different hero types you can choose from, including lepers and abominations and grave robbers and occultists. I love the occultists. Actually, my favorite is the leper, which is very similar to the character Baldwin, the king of Jerusalem in Kingdom of Heaven. If not my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies is this leper with a beautiful golden mask. Very remarkable imagery, and they used it in this game. I don't think it was exactly the same character, but no doubt it was inspired by. Let's open this chest. Chest with he's used the key now. Great, some treasure, and we get out of here. Continue along. So we basically, our quest is to explore 90% of the rooms. One of my complaints about this game is most of the quests are essentially quite boring. There's a few interesting ones, but it's either win 100% of room battles or explore 90% of rooms, and I think they could really have mixed that up. Even in newer versions, a lot of the quests feel quite repetitive and grindy until it's like, you know, kill a boss. Nothing in this room. Keep going. Increase the light. So I think Rocky Balboa here he's a kleptomaniac. See, this is one of his negative traits. As you can see, he's God-fearing, he'll only pray. So did you see he whistled and then he took the loot for himself because he loves to steal things from the party. But on the plus side, plus 10% damage if torches above 75. So they all have pros and cons, which are quite cool. And the more you adventure with them, the more you find these characters get more and more broken. And you can take them to... okay, we better eat. Snack on that. You can take them to abbeys or brothels or taverns and things to cure that stress relief. But then that might cause other afflictions. So if you go to the brothel too much, you get syphilis. If you go to the gambling hall too much, you become a known cheat and that kind of thing, and you get banned. And it's a really fascinating system. And you can go to the sanitarium, like basically the the House of Madness. I forgot, the asylum, basically, to cure your ailments. In the straitjacket and everything. It's pretty cool. So we continue. We've only got a couple more rooms. Aha, this is why we take multiple shovels. The light is going dimmer. We're going to fight the next battle in the dark just for fun. Because I sense there is a battle coming up. Here we go. This is a big battle as well. We've got these guys with the crossbows called arbalists. They're quite tough, so I'm going to try and stun them. Got him. Oh no. Yeah, that's all I wanted. And these bastards, the bone courtiers, they really stress out the party. So you want to take them out as much as you can quickly. So we're going to... I'm going to do a pistol shot at him. Good hit. If I can take him out with the next character, I will. Because the Tempting Goblet, he's targeted Ivan Drago. He's becoming very stressed. And he might actually, which would be fun for the purpose of the video, he might get too stressed and go a bit nuts. Crazy Russian. So we'll... let's try to take one of these guys out. Damn it, that didn't work too well. Adrian! I like to theme my characters in these games. So this is the Rocky Balboa estate, of course, and other characters in other games have got Michael Bolton is a jester in the game, and I've got like Freddie Mercury is like a cultist and that kind of thing. It's pretty fun. It's fun to give them, fun for me. It's to give them personalities and so on. What am I doing? Concentrate. Really cool art by Barassa. It's really quite iconic. And the programmer was a guy called Tyler Sigman, and he come up with a lot of really interesting systems for this game. So poor Rocky's in a bad state, isn't he? Well, we've got rid of the Bone Courtier, which is good. Let's blight. No, we'll stun him again, because he can cause a lot of trouble, you see. Zealous accusation. Rocky. Swinging and missing, but we're going to heal him. Keep him alive. We need him. After all, it is his estate. In the end, it doesn't actually matter. We'll now find out soon if he has the eye of the tiger. It's the cream of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rivals. Goes out to my good friend John Villiotis, who's a big Rocky fan. Probably not a big fan of my singing, though, as very few people are. Keep stunning the arbalist. Battles do go for a while, and it can become quite fatiguing if you're not paying attention. But this is probably the last battle in this dungeon. Oh, Apollo. Tough times. He might be dead. He's probably on death's door now. If he gets hit one more time, he's probably going to die. Alright, we are going to take out the Bone Soldier. Oh, Rocky. He hasn't come up big in this battle at all. Let's stun. I should have killed him. What was I doing? You'd think I'd played this game before, even though I've been playing it all week. I haven't sort of gone back to the beginning. Let's heal Rocky. Oh, let's heal Apollo. See if we can keep him alive. He's not giving up. Good man. Someone's got to go down. All right. Open vein. Good work, Apollo. It's worth keeping you alive. So it's just us and the Arbalest. We're going to stun him again. I'm almost kind of... it's almost a disappointment that one of them, Ivan Drago, didn't go too stressed, because that would have been fun to show you. Huzzah! Damn right they can. So we're going to go back to the hamlet in 1 second, but first going to open this chest. Get some treasure. Cool, so we found deeds. Deeds are very important. And a trinket. Cool. I don't have enough room for everything, but we can eat the food. Drink the holy water. Take that. We'll replace it with the shovel. We don't need that anymore. And quest complete. Now let's see what happened to our characters after the amazing adventure. Of course, we got a lot of treasures. We can skip all that. Good little haul. Rocky had a bit of a tough time. It so did Apollo. They've probably got some negative traits. He's got the yips, as he does. And that's really cool. We noticed he was missing a bit. And that has shown up as a negative trait. But when he does hit, he hits hard. Because he's Rocky, of course. Apollo is disease sickly, which is a bit sad, because Apollo was very tough in Rocky, but he got taken out by evil Ivan Drago in what was supposed to be a friendly match. But he's got another bonus. Cool, so now we return to town, to the hamlet. So they've all got some bad quirks there. And, of course, new heroes have arrived. A man-at-arms. I really like the man-at-arms characters, actually. And another crusader. So we can also... what we can do is... we can check in Ivan Drago for some treatment. Because he's stressed out. And of course, you can upgrade these buildings to make them more powerful. First thing you want to do is really upgrade the stagecoach. Of course, because then you get more heroes. Which will do that. Narration, again, there's a quote for everything. And they're all memorable and really exquisitely written. You know, they get a little repetitive, but they're so beautifully done that I don't mind it at all. Yeah, so that's the game basically. You can go on another quest with that party or bring in new adventurers. Of course, Apollo's in treatment, so we could bring in this new hero, Parry, what's his name. We can't go to the darkest dungeon yet because it's too freaky for them. Or could we? What happens if I tried? We could try. Yeah, let's try. This is suicide. This is basically a suicide mission. Now, I've never been in the darkest dungeon before because I value my characters a little too much. But because this is just a throwaway game for the purposes of the video, let's have a bit of fun. Scary. Yeah, so I've never been in here. All right, I'm already depressed enough as it is. Let's keep going. Oh, they're all screaming. Look at this. I love it. They've actually got really interesting sort of speech bubbles when they interact with each other. But we're going to keep... the poor Rocky estate will be ended Really cool visuals. This is grim. I don't know what's going to happen. What the hell are these things? Rapturous cultists. Oh, so he's guarding him, which means if we attack him, he's healing him. He doesn't really need healing. That was a bit daft. Let's see what Judgment will do. See if we can take someone out. That'd be quite cool. With our level 1 heroes. They might be level 0 heroes, a few of them. Hey. Good start. Good start indeed. Stun him. Stupid cultists. There are a lot of cultists in this game. Useless. We should be able to take him out. There we go. We might even finish the game tonight. What are the odds? I will buy everyone who watches this video a hamburger if we win the game tonight. The hell is that? Oh, nasty. Nasty thing. So they're getting stressed now, and we're going to see what happens when they get stressed. Alright. Hit him hard, Apollo. Come on, Creed. You can do it. Stun him. Stunning is good. Ye are judged. Adrian really lifting, where the boys will not. Smite him. I want to see what happens when you get to the next room at least. This should... I should stun him just in case. Or we resisted it. So he'll probably get an attack on us if we don't kill him now. Come on, Rocky. No time for the yips. Apollo. Ding, ding. Eye the tiger. Oh, cool. I like the doors. Alright, so we've seen a few of these beasts before. So this is... no, they're tougher than our regular beasties. Well, take them all. But we're quite close to getting some stress, which is going to be fun. I'm doing this deliberately, of course. Not really playing a serious game with this. Whoa. Don't know what he did there. Healed him. Okay, healing's a problem because it's going to hurt us. I need to take out that cultist, actually. Got to pay more attention. Crush him. I've fought many battles in this game, and I take it for granted now, but I really love the effect when the hero and the villain meet and the camera sort of zooms in into them and then zooms back out again. It's a really lovely bit of tween programming. Tween in-betweening. Zoom in, zoom out. Let's crush him. Nope. Should use the stun. But I actually want to see what happens when they get stressed for fun. Oh, Rocky. It's again. Here we go. So there's nice thing. Oh, he's become fearful. He didn't get the eye of the tiger. So he's probably going to miss turns. If Rocky falls, how will they go on? I'm not going to heal him because I'm going to wrap this video up soon. But let's take out the cultist. We salute you, Rocky Balboa. They're telling us we should retreat. Oh, now Apollo's become fearful. Our new man-at-arms parry is in a bad way. Everyone's stressed to the max. Is anyone going to be... Occasionally you get someone who becomes valorous or resolved, and they become quite powerful, but none of our heroes did that. Disappointing. So she's gone nuts now. When really, we've got this battle in hand, even though I'm mucking around, we can still beat him. Famous last words, because I've done a bunch of stupid things just for fun. So, yeah, if you keep getting stressed, you get a heart attack. So he's 6 away from a heart attack. But he'll be dead long before that. They're freaking out so much. I wonder if he'll get a heart attack. That could be fun. Let's see if we can heal him, just so we get to see the heart attack. Because it'll be fun for the video. You don't want to do this in when you're really playing the game. Don't enter this dungeon, not till you're much, much more powerful than I am. Parry, we hardly knew thee. Thanks for your service. Oh, come on. He's going to bleed to death. Or we'll bleed to death. They're trying to flee, but I'm not letting them. Oh, come on. We're just having a lot of it. There we go. These two have not... Drago and Adrienne haven't really been that good in this battle. We're going to stun him. Oh, he's resistant. Adrienne's probably the next to go. She's at death's door now. The narrator really can set the tone. Heroism or cowardice? It's probably cowardice, but I'm not going to let him run. Apollo, Adrienne. We could let him flee if I wanted. Retreat! So we're going to abandon that quest. Oh, she died. Oh, they both died from a heart attack anyway. No rewards. No rewards for the wonderful Rocky Balboa gang. Only Ivan Drago lived because he was in the sanitarium. We can recruit more heroes, of course, and that's how it works. There's like cool guys like this Abomination, and there's a Arbalest, there's like a crossbow lady. And this guy's cool because he can turn into like a giant beast. Alright, so that, my friends, is Darkest Dungeon. Yeah, I'll keep the music going in the background. Yeah, that's Darkest Dungeon. What do you think? Pretty cool game, huh? It's not for everyone. It requires a certain patience and resolve to go at it and at it and at it again. There's a wave of games that have come out in the last few years, like this and Faster Than Light, and of course XCOM on hard mode, and one of the granddaddies of all of them, Dark Souls, which is one of the toughest games you'll ever play. And these games are just designed to be tough. Just one sec, I'm going to... The light returns. The darkness is abated. The headphones come off. Yeah, these games are designed to be tough, and you inch forward one foot at a time. Dark Souls in particular is all about learning from your mistakes, and you will die and die and die again, but you very rarely make the same mistake twice. Or in my case, I do many times. And Darkest Dungeons has a very similar quality to that. It's very addictive, it's very tactical, it's a lot of fun. It is repetitive and grindy, and I would, a lot of people say this would have defeated the purposes of the game, but it would have been kind of nice just to give the player the option of maybe not permadeath for everyone, because you do get a bit attached to the heroes, especially the more you use them, and if you lose one, it does set you back an hour or two of gameplay. And for those time poor players like us, it would have been nice to have that option, but maybe that would have defeated what the game's all about, because the Hamlet is the hero. Well, that's it for this week. What do you think of Dark Dungeons? Darkest Dungeon. Actually, I made a game when I was very young called Dark Dungeons 2. My buddy Jeff Wicks made Dark Dungeons 1. It was a text adventure. So when we saw this game come out, we thought, oh, they used our name. I remember seeing this game a few years ago and thought, gee, I would have wished I'd thought of that, because I would have thought it would have been quite a fun swords and sandals kind of adventure with 4 gladiators going forward. But I probably wouldn't have thought of it in quite the same way. And they did a remarkable job of bringing a clever, challenging tactical game. It's available on many different platforms, from the PC to the Vita to the iPad to, of course, the Switch and the Xbox One. So if you're into this game, you can get it quite cheaply, and it's a lot of fun and well worth it if you like those kind of games. That's it for tonight. I don't know what I'm going to play next. If you've got any ideas, let us know in the comments. G'day to all my new subscribers. Great to have you with me. I am going to do a Sword and Sandals Pirates video soon. I'm just putting together a demo for a games conference in New York in 2 or 3 weeks, which we'll be demoing Sword and Sandals Pirates, which is very exciting. But it also means I'm kind of scrambling to get a playable build-up. So there you go. I'm looking forward to showing some more of that off. We're still maybe three months or so from it being ready, but it's nearly there, I promise. All right, that's the end of this video, and sadly the end of my weekend. All too brief. All right, bye for now.